So in this video, you're going to witness a frame battle between Bill Maher and Joe Rogan. Now, in order to understand what is a frame battle, you have to know what a frame is. So very simply, a frame or frame of reference, the way you look at something, right? So you could look at something through glasses, or you could take the glasses off and look at the glasses. That's what this video is. Rogan and Maher are trying to put different frames on for you to view certain materials. And we're in this video saying, let's look at the frame. Better one, better two. Let's look at which frame are you choosing to accept here. So in this first clip, there is a back and forth volley of Rogan and Maher trying to set the frame. And remember, key insight here, whoever sets the frame controls the frame.
Issue is he lies a lot, and he's probably...
Well, certainly not more than Trump. Oh, please. Come on, man.
Well, listen, I think they both lie. I mean, I don't like that more than this guy.
So right away, we see two frame battles emerging. The first, Rogan attempts to set the frame that Biden is a liar. And then Bill Maher immediately reframes it with a sleight of mouth pattern. Sleight of mouth is a set of NLP reframing patterns. He reframes it with what we call apply to self. So he's applying Rogan's argument against himself by saying Trump's a bigger liar. Then Rogan does something really interesting, which is, again, he tries to reestablish the frame by changing the context of the conversation they're having. He's saying, let's not compare them to each other. Let's just talk about Biden. So if we just talk about Biden, Rogan gets to frame Biden the way he wants to in this clip. Okay. Whereas you'll notice that Bill Maher does not accept that frame at all. He will not entertain that frame. And he continues to bring Rogan back to the comparison frame. Remember, whoever sets the frame controls the frame.
Because I want to just, if you want to talk about Trump, we could talk about Trump. But if you just talk about Biden, I don't think comparing him to Trump does anybody any good. You just look at the situation.
Does, because they're running against each other.
Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of necessary.
It could if you want to talk about in terms of an election, but you talk about in terms of the guy who's in office right now, like, why don't I like him? Well, one of the things that I don't like has nothing to do with any of his choices, is that he's mentally compromised. I think there's something wrong, and I think it's clear.
As if the other guy isn't.
Here's another example. Rogan offers a frame. Biden is mentally compromised. And then Maher again doesn't apply to self, as if the other guy isn't. Right? And then in the next clip, Rogan does something very interesting to get his point across. Watch.
He might be crazy. He might be a sociopath.
He is crazy. He's crazy and stupid.
Say all those things, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that there's something wrong with Biden.
So in that last clip, Rogan uses the agreement frame. It's very hard to argue with someone who agrees with you, and then he just redefines at the end.
He's crazy and stupid.
Say all those things, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that there's something wrong with Biden.
So he takes the power out of Maher's argument temporarily, right? I agree. Maher goes, and then Rogan hits him with the reframe. Now, watch this next clip, because this is where Maher, in my opinion, sets the governing frame for the whole interaction by taking it back to, we're comparing two candidates, and you'll see Rogan fall into that frame by debating with him and forgetting his earlier frame.
Again, we're living in a world where perfect is not on the menu. These are the choices we're going to have. This is going to be who's running next time. You're going to have a doddering old man.
I think that Biden's going to make it to the 2024 elections, because I'm not convinced.
Well, who knows? Yeah, he might not, and so might not Trump.
Right. Both of them could die at any minute now.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're like 70, whatever years old, 78 years old.
One is 77, one is 80.
Yeah, that's the end of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're on E.
One of the common frames that they set in politics is the candidate is healthy and vigorous. When you think about a leader of a country, you want to know they're going to live, right? So this is a common frame politicians will try to set. Rogan goes, do you think Biden's going to make it to the next election? Implying he's not healthy, right? Bill Maher again goes apply to self. well, Trump isn't going to make it either.
I mean,
Right? I mean, you might make it to town, but you might die on the side of the road. You're
there's also blue zones where people live to 100.
They don't look like those guys.
No, they look better.
Yeah, they're thin and active, and
Well,
yeah,
Biden's thin.
that's true.
Trump is not.
But he's thin, like skeletal thin.
Yeah.
Like he's thin, like frail. Like
Yeah.
where he looks like
Look,
he's just
Here again, we're doing a framing on health. Maher goes, well, Biden's thin, as if implying because he's thin, he's healthy. Rogan redefines, this is reframing called redefine, redefines thin as unhealthy. Watch how he does this. He goes, yeah, he's thin, but he's skeletal thin. So he redefines the meaning of the word thin, thus reframing Maher's argument. Right now, this is the most beautiful reframing that Bill Maher is about to do. I love the way he reframes this argument. Oh, it's so good. Listen.
Well, Biden's thin.
That's true.
Trump is not.
But he's thin, like skeletal thin.
Yeah.
Like he's thin, like frail. Like
Yeah.
where he looks like
Look,
he's just going to fall down a lot.
I'll give you this point. Trump looks a lot and sounds a lot more hearty
Yeah.
and robust
Yeah.
and healthy.
Yeah.
That's true. He's a city roach. He eat the worst things he eats, the stronger he gets. You cannot kill him.
So there's a beautiful thing. First, Maher sets it up with a yes set. So he goes, and an agreement frame to get Rogan going yes, right? So he goes, look, Trump is healthy. Rogan's like, yep. Trump is hearty, yes. And he says something else, and Rogan's like, yep. So pace. He has Rogan nodding yes, saying yes. Rogan's nervous system is expecting to say yes to the next thing. And then Maher does a reframe by analogy and exaggeration. He says, yeah, he's hearty, he's healthy, he's a city roach. The more trash he eats, the stronger he gets. You can't kill him, right? So he redefines the fact that Trump looks so healthy. Well, so does a roach. Like, you can't kill a roach. Doesn't matter what happens to a roach. They just keep on coming. I don't love in these frame battles when you compare your opposition to dehumanize them, right? When you dehumanize a Republican or a Democrat or a communist or a Russian person or a Middle Eastern person, by dehumanizing them, it makes it easier for us to commit acts of violence or to hate the other side. So even though it's a brilliant reframe, it wouldn't have been my choice, but it's hilarious. And it's really well done. And look at Rogan. Rogan's cracking up. And that's the other piece to pay attention to. It's not just the language pattern you use, it's the effect it has on the listener. So if he's laughing, if he's nodding his head and saying yes, that's persuasion. Learning to reframe makes you such a powerful communicator because the frame dictates the meaning. We can use reframing in coaching to help our clients, to empower people. We can reframe our own thoughts to empower ourselves. Leaders who want to empower their team. You can really influence if you're skilled with language and framing. In dating, framing is a very popular topic in dating, right? You can frame flirtatiously. You can frame boundaries and expectations. You can frame negotiations. Now, if you're going to learn these tools, use them ethically and learn them well enough to know what ethical use of the tools is. All right. Anywho, like, comment, subscribe. Find the link for trainings available. I have very small number of one-on-one available sessions. If you're interested in coaching, hit the link.